When it comes to video games, I like ones that have a compelling narrative. I like games that are fun to play with interesting mechanics and creative ways with which they'll allow me to problem solve and progress. But most importantly, I like games that allow me to do whatever I want, with player freedom. So when the brand new single-player first-person action survival game Atomfall came out, developed by Rebellion, famed developer of the Sniper Elite games, I thought to myself, best guest, didn't Rebellion let you shoot Adolf Hitler in the nuts? Best guest, doesn't that sound like a developer that'll let you do whatever you want, with player freedom? Yes. Yes, it does. And if you're like me and that's what you're after, then Atomfall's for you. It's now available on all platforms, links in the description and comments. This video is sponsored by Rebellion, who have taken it upon themselves to feed and clothe me like I'm a poor Victorian orphan. So I dive in and we're met with this charming slideshow. It was remiss of me to think that this was an informative presentation as to the current state of affairs in Great Britain. However, the wastelandish nuclear disaster you see before you is in fact fictional, and what we are witnessing is a series of events leading up to the alternate timeline of 1962 in which the game takes place. I wouldn't know the difference as my forebears were cast out to the desert prison colony of Australia, where we all suffer with our warm weather and our pleasant beaches and whatnot. I'm immediately faced with old mate over here. It was remiss of me to think that this wily scientist was acting injured because he wanted to rob me, but as it turns out, he is only British, and is in fact in desperate need of medical attention. He promises me a keycard into this elusive location called the Interchange, where we'll uncover the secrets of what happened to this land, but only if I can help him with his wounds. So I persuade him to give me the keycard without helping him, thus causing him to give up all hope and giving me that player freedom rush. Making good on my promise to him, however, I frantically scrounge the location for supplies from which I can make some first aid bandages and staunch the bleeding. I find what I need. I craft the bandage. I rush back to my new friend so desperately in need of my help. And it was at this moment I knew that Atomfall was for me. I didn't even need the keycard. He'd already handed it to me. This wasn't necessary at all. I just couldn't help myself. I saw the prompt, I hit the button, and excitement becomes me. I often wonder, you know, at the consequences a game that allows such freedoms has on the mind. But then again, I don't wonder much because I'm too busy kicking a British man out of this plane of reality. And I come to realize that this is who I am now. Oberyn Martell? Gregor Clegane, is that you? Oh, it's just a guy enjoying his guitar in the countryside. Nat Buckshaw is painfully unaware that I've just learned I can do just about whatever I want with him. His life is worthless, his life is meaningless. We're just lost souls humming within the meat machine that doth churn us out for our taxes, our time, the sweat of our brow, that we continuously burn, a candle at both ends, until we die, leaving nothing behind but memories for those that may not even choose to recall. Although, he doesn't look like he pays any taxes. Nor does he really look very upset at the fragility of life. But I can tell there's a bandit here because Tommy Shelby over here can't stop whistling at maximum volume like a kettle on the stove. Like an itty-bitty cricket in the brazen bull.
What? Someone's sneaking around out there.
So I'd learned I could kill by throwing blunt objects at enemies, and this really got to my head. I'd ended up surrounded at one point and decided to play pinball with said blunt objects. Though I was deeply amused, it was not a viable strategy. You know, I was advised I play on the survivor difficulty, and I know I could have reduced this at any point because, you know, I could either go with the strategy better advised of us as a survivor, or I could forego such thoughts and instead forge my own path, throwing blunt weapons. Which is obviously what I did to, like, mixed results. But I was having the time of my life despite my many deaths. Now, I'm not one to die on a hill, but I had decided to climb this tower and start hurling blunt objects at enemies from a vantage point, believing myself to be untouchable. You know, again, to mixed results. They laughed at me when I climbed the tower, but now I look down upon them. Is he unconscious? Alas, no king rules forever. And it was time to simmer down and maybe try to progress. So I find this town nearby, Wyndham, and I'm deeply offended by the town guards referring to me with such clear disdain. So I'm resolved to do whatever I can to deeply inconvenience them at every opportunity, provided that it is something I'm even able to do. Well, gentlemen, trying to go somewhere, huh? Trying to get past a certain... You understand.
Do as you're told, right?
Why here of all places? If they'd resolved to do something so awful, why in the church?
Oh man, in the church? Is there no shame anymore?
No!
How can this be
Well, no one saw me do it. We're in the clear. Turns out this was obviously a quest I'd resolved in a very New Vegas manner. Supposedly someone had murdered a person in the church and was supposed to go on this big investigative journey to get to the bottom of it. Instead, I loot the vicar of this key, and stumbling blindly around the church, I punched this garden gnome. I punched these bats. And I use the vicar's key on his secret chest and find this atomic battery, which you'll find out much later on is a very important sort of near endgame item that we need to unlock some very important doors that I'm assuming was the end goal of the investigation. And having looked no further into the quest, this makes the vicar guilty as far as I'm concerned. I go to the village hall. I announce my arrival to the receptionist by punching his table. This deeply offends him because it's real mahogany.
Don't go causing any trouble here. Is that clear?
I've never caused any trouble in me life, I swear on me mum. Captain Grant Sims seems to be the lead on how to get through the interchange and escape the quarantine zone we appear to have found ourselves in. And so in an attempt to cozy up to him and get him to help us, it is intended that we do some work for him as an avenue for progression. So we accept the first job.
We've had our eyes on Iris, the baker. I could send a patrol in, of course, but a softer approach might prove more efficacious.
A softer approach? No problem, boss. You leave that to me. I should be going with that softer approach, as you say. Alright. Cute little bakery.
Oh, who are you?
Don't worry about it. Iris is dead. The door for the baker's key. Okay, I'm seeing why Captain Sims wanted me to investigate. I guess I'd better sort this out. The baker's husband is dead.
Yes, what is it?
Iris was hiding her You need to send someone to the church. There's been a murder.
There's been a what?
Having won his trust by murdering the baker, her husband, the drugger, and ratting out the vicar for blowing up the church, Captain Sims trusts us with a more delicate matter. One that requires more finesse, if you will. He gives us credentials to enter through the Protocol Skethermore camp and enter the prison where they're keeping Dr. Garrow for interrogation, where I will need to get information out of her to give Captain Sims.
Steady now, no sudden moves.
On my way out, the receptionist is still very clearly upset. So I head through Skethermore and make it to the prison. I make my way through the massive winding passageways, steadily creeping towards maximum security at the back, where she is rumored to be held. I unlock this one door, not really knowing what's up. I notice the prisoners beyond, sprinting towards me, so I close the door. Realize I have accidentally staged a prison break, and open the door again. Be free, men. Alright, you know, some gratitude would be nice.
No way out for you.
While investigating the wiring in the roof, which is surprisingly indicative of where to find levers and switches for opening various locked doors, I accidentally find Dr. Garrow in a literal cage. She lets me know of a device by which I can hack into switchboards and reroute power to get her out, after which she will divulge the information Captain Sims wants onto us once she's freed. But obviously, I really want to see how far I can push her and get away with it. Besides, I'm not a dummy. I know the second I break her out, all these armed guards are going to be coming after me. And look, I'm going to be honest. I didn't investigate much further, but I figured if I could incapacitate her from relative stealth, like I had done the baker, you know, the vicar, and various other individuals, then the guard should still remain neutral to me. And so I present to you my methods.
What now?
What was that dance? Did you see how she moved? Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. Dr. Garrow's dead. Damn. I stroll leisurely out of the prison with no resistance from any of the guards, despite the prison break, the murder, and the overt infiltration of the maximum security wing.
Be causing trouble, alright?
No trouble here, boss. I'm just gonna sprint in this direction. Yeah. I find a trader in this decrepit old building. I trade him a shotgun and a medkit for 2 grenades and a sticky bomb. None of these items have any value because I tend to throw bats at people anyway. I then punch his desk like I do the town guard's receptionists, and he doesn't like this, so I do it more. I put my foot down. I talk to him while he's in this alert state, and his eyes do this weird thing.
Had a chain customer.
Why are his eyes all...
Had a chain customer. Care to see me stock?
Is he okay?
See you around, chum.
Not if I see you first.
What think you the first hit?
I didn't have to do that. Oh hey, my shotgun. I returned to town, announced my arrival to the receptionist. Or I was going to until I realized he's floating in place and I have a sacred duty to finish the game doing whatever I want. So I gently embrace him from behind. Then I turn in the quest to Captain Sims. Oh no, Captain Sims is dead.
What? Crikey!
You see, because I did all of this from stealth, the rest of the town has no idea that it is indeed I to blame for all the deaths. And as for where this leaves me, well, the only lead I have for getting out of the quarantine zone now would be that one guy right at the beginning of the game that said something about the interchange, and a mysterious series of phone calls from that one trustworthy voice telling me that Oberon must die.
Hello? Hello?
This land looks safe. This land is not safe.
This land is not safe because of me. This is how I like to play games. By making it as quick, efficient, and easy as possible by accidentally making it as difficult as possible. For example, I find this mine because I had a lead telling me to explore the mines. I find a friendly fellow offering to help me navigate the mines.
You know, I must say, it's nice to talk to someone. Someone who's properly here, that is. Not just a voice in my head.
Although, it did just lead me back outside. Probably because I didn't look around so thoroughly. I find an entrance to the interchange in Slatton Dale. I make it to the central processor, which is really the main hub for all the things in the main story of the game. Everything leads here, or in my case, just that one trustworthy fellow over the phone.
Require the operator.
What's happening right now? I used the atomic battery I stole from the vicar after he'd murdered that woman and then blew himself up in front of the altar to power up the central processor. I look around confusedly because I did not listen to any of the NPCs except any help. Killed the guy at the start of the game for his keycard. I do loot another atomic battery though. I take this atomic battery down to Data Store C, where I find a note that there are more batteries down at the dam. I'm sure someone, now dead, might have pointed me in this direction, so it's nice that the game gives you multiple avenues by which you can resolve quests. Such as by murdering everyone. I power up Data Store C. I am still very confused. I throw a bat at 2 bandits.
You want some, I'll give it ya. Don't let me catch you on my earth again.
I'm unable to power up Data Store D because I am out of batteries, but I learn of another battery somewhere at a vehicle depot in Skethermore. Very well, that's 2 batteries, so this just might work out. Hello?
This is the transaction.
Hello? I'm way too stupid for this.
Bloody hell.
I wonder if she knows where that vehicle depot is for the other battery.
We don't go into the conservatory, though. Not there. But everywhere else. Anything you need, ask Jenks.
I'm just gonna be completely honest with you all. Yes, I found the vehicle depot in an entirely different zone, and all I had to do was actually read the lead in the menu to figure this out, but yeah, once I got there, I'd cleared the area by exclusively throwing objects at the bandits, which is all well and good, but no matter what I did, I could not find the atomic battery here at all. I wandered around for ages, finding solace in kicking this woman against a wall for an extended period of time. But alas, I had been defeated. Killing everyone had been my foil, my undoing. I take out my frustrations on the nearby protocol guards that surround the prison, who had all since realized that it was I who had staged the prison break and killed Dr. Garrow right under the noses, thusly turning hostile. The course of this reality had been corrected, their temperament a symptom of a universe healing. I was really upset. That was, until I see this message. Extract batteries? I can extract batteries from the mechs? A massive victory. Never again would I have to speak to another person or snap another single solitary neck for answers. I could be an outlaw, a vagabond, to get whatever I wanted. I place the battery in data store D. I show this outlaw what for. I scrounged my way through the medical wing, not really knowing what to do, but throwing assorted objects at this thrall until I achieve victory. Some ghouls scare me motherless.
Yeah, come to me. Get over here.
At this point, I'm wandering around like a headless chicken, not knowing where next to insert my enormous atomic batteries, when I meet Joyce Tanner back in Data Store C.
Who's there?
Finally, an avenue for assistance. I can get some help with these frigid tunnels between the world, devoid of light or life.
I was drafted in, along with a Dr. Garrow.
Oh, Dr. Garrow, huh? I don't suppose you know what happened to her? Is she well?
The helicopter carrying her crashed in the woods.
Oh, Dr. Garrow's helicopter crashed in the woods, did it? Let me just check my notes on Dr. Garrow real quick, shall we?
But things are certainly looking up now we're in here.
Dr. Joyce might help me escape. That's really good news. Let's just check my notes on Joyce real quick, shall we? I really don't know what to do, so just to catch you all up at home, I've left the interchange to explore whether or not other parts of it are accessible from other entrances around the world. I know there's one here in Wyndham, so I'm just going to check that out real quick. I've got batteries. I just don't know where I need to place them.
You are doing well.
I'll find answers through prayer. I'll find them through God.
An actual murder. About time something instant happened around here.
I feel like I'm a detective in an Agatha Christie.
A murder?
What?
In the church? Is there no shame anymore?
Watch your head, lad.
Well. The vicar's been at it again, I see. I meet this fellow beneath the church. Quite fitting there'd be a Draga down here. But one of my notes in my journal did tell me that this is where I'd need to go. Finally, an injection with some damage immunity to the infested areas, which should open up some of the areas in the interchange for me to explore. Finally, some help from a fellow human. I shan't. Nay, I won't. I haven't been able to help myself so far. Time to prove that I have the willpower to be better. To be something more.
I'm not your enemy! What was that?
Dr. Holder is dead. Nah, he's fine, he'll be alright. A huge thank you to the patrons. Without you, I do not have the cricket bats and, I don't know, hand axes to throw at people so that the blunt objects go clunk off their foreheads. So for that, you have my thanks. For the rest of you, please like and subscribe, leave a comment and send this to your friends. I'd be nothing without you all. And if I'm having fun with Atomfall, I think you will too. Links in the description for those wanting to check it out and throw a sticky bomb at the vicar in the church. I mean thwart the vicar's plans. By throwing a sticky bomb at the vicar. Stay safe, honey. Or...